at the home improvement, you have about 1 million homes which are new, which are coming up for interiors, so to speak, every year. This is across the top 20-25 cities I'm talking about. This is both apartments, new, independent bungalows, all put together. I'm talking. This is across affordable housing and luxury housing across all the segments. This is about 1 million. There are also about 1.8 million homes coming up for renovation. So the renovation ones you may look at it like they do maybe one room at a time, maximum maybe 2 rooms at a time. They won't do the whole house because they are living there mostly while getting it done. So typically you're looking at about 2.8 million units coming together in a year, and it's growing at about 5-6% year on year, where people either need to get their whole home renovated or part of their home, whole home done up or part of their home renovated. Even if you take an average spend, $10,000. So you're looking at a few billion in terms of size. So size is not the problem. As in India, everything is big, right? So is this sector. But the whole important point is that there are two distinct segments here. One is the new home segment and one is the renovation segment. There are very different solutions that are required for these segments, in my opinion. Homeowners are not considering home improvement as a discretionary spend. It is a must-have spend. मुझे करना ही करना है. Work from home furniture, very, very popular now, right? So very clearly, yes, the segment is growing. Whichever way you look at it, it is growing at about 5-6% year on year, even during these times. In the unorganized sector, typically, there are multiple stakeholders involved in a project. And normally, if you see, there'll be finger pointing happening between those parties itself. And finally, the customer is the one let down because their job will not get done either on time or on budget, or quality will not be acceptable. So I call it lack of predictability. If the customer thinks, अच्छा मुझे ये quality का चीज मिलेगा, ये budget में मिलेगा और इतना time में मिलेगा, then I need to provide it at that point, at those parameters. Typically, if he did in the erstwhile world, he would never get all the three. He doesn't know what quality he's getting. It may be good, bad, or ugly. It's like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you will get. The second one is you start with one budget and you typically finish off with 50% to 100% more of that budget, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's like quicksand. एक बार फंस गए तो आप फंस गए, बस हो गया. The third one and the most important one, according to me, is the timeline. You start off thinking you're going to get it, let's say, by end of October, and then you finally, if you get it by end of Jan, you're lucky. For trying to solve at scale for these, you cannot be people dependent. If you are people dependent, then you cannot solve it for scale. That is really the moral of the story. And if you have to get predictability without being people dependent, then you have to sacrifice on variety somewhat so that you can actually be predictable. Broadly, I believe in tier 2 and tier 3, people are aspirational. They want to do up their homes. They have also now been through COVID, and they realize the value of spending money on doing up their homes and being comfortable. The aesthetic sense will be a little more sober when you're looking at non-metros. Metros, we see that it's a little more robust, flashy kind of taste that customers would have. And it's a mix, actually. But in non-metros, we believe that what we will see, we don't know yet, but what we will see will be a lot more sober. They don't mind limited options, but they want, sasta, sundar, tikau kind of options, if you know what I mean. At the end of the day, Indian consumer is a value-seeking consumer. वो सब सुनेंगे और उसके बाद पूछेंगे अच्छा कितना देती है. So I think without technology, businesses are going to find it very difficult to survive. Especially COVID, I think, has clearly demonstrated that if you do not adapt to the changing times. Now, if you don't have that convenience of offering a virtual contactless experience, customers are not going to meet you. And that's one example of why technology has become imperative in the home decor industry. If we are not looking at customer behavior changes and adapting to it, then we are asking for trouble. So one is, please look at, especially in times like the pandemic, please look at how customer behavior is changing or likely to change and align yourself so that you can suit that change in behavior. I believe that frugality is something that needs to be preached and practiced by every entrepreneur. This is not the time for us to go all out and spend lots of money on any branding or on TV or something like that. Please look at your costs far more than your revenues and see where you can cut. I have always believed that cost is a reality, revenue is hope. There is one quality of an entrepreneur which towers above everything else, and that is perseverance. You know, that quality of you refusing to give up, refusing to admit defeat, refusing to die is extremely important. What will differentiate the men from the boys will be perseverance.